The Lexus GX was not always focused on pure off-roading. It was more meant as one of those vehicles that sort of filled a niche that Lexus had to fill in their product lineup a bunch of years ago. But as people discovered how capable they were, they became very popular both in the new and used off-road segment for people looking for something that was a little nicer than, say, a 4Runner, but still a similar size and plenty capable. Now we've got the all-new one. This is the 2024 Lexus GX, and thanks to a few other things, this is more off-road focused than before, and I'm here to look all around and tell you all about it. All right, so first of all, let's talk about what's going on with the GX as far as basic frame and platform and numbers and all that, and then we'll take you around for a little bit of a tour. So this is gonna be on the GA-F platform. It's one that's shared with Toyota and Lexus both, and that is not a bad thing at all. Platform sharing in this regard just kind of says, hey, we're starting with very, very basic, hard points and frame rails and all that, but we're not gonna be, this is not like some K-car badge engineering stuff from the 80s. So what that means is you've got a 112-inch wheelbase on this GX in particular. They're all gonna have that 112.2-inch wheelbase. That's different based on what vehicle's being built on the GA-F platform. They can stretch it or shorten it based on what they wanna do there. Now, drivetrain-wise, obviously they've got flexibility. In this case, every GX being sold when these first come out is going to be a gas-only powertrain. So it's going to be a 3.4-liter twin-turbocharged V6, not a hybrid. And this is going to be the same engine that's shared with some models of Toyota Tundra in particular, and the Lexus LX 600. So in this case, it makes 349 horsepower, 479 pound-feet of torque. And all that flows down to a 10-speed torque converter automatic transmission, again, shared with a lot of their other newer body-on-frame type vehicles. And in this case, you've got a standard full-time four-wheel drive system. Some people might call it all-wheel drive because you cannot disengage the front axle. It's going to be a full-time four-wheel drive setup running in 4-high. You've got four-wheel drive low-range gearing if you want to use that. And then every Lexus GX is also going to have an electronically controlled Torsen limited slip differential. So you have the differential that will, work as a limited slip normally, and then there is a button on the center console if you want to lock it for off-road use. Now we have to talk more numbers, and we have to talk about numbers that matter to off-roaders, and that is the angles. Angles always matter, and I can't remember all these facts, so I have the little fact sheet that Lexus gave me. So we have all three trims of GX here today. I'm standing in front of a Premium Plus, which is going to be more toward the bottom of the range. You've got Premium, Premium Plus, Luxury, Luxury Plus, Overtrail, and Overtrail Plus. Those are the 6 trims that you get. Now, the differences in these angles are largely based on the bumpers, the tires, the suspension that they've got, because the suspensions could be a little different based on your trim. But in any case, if you're getting a Premium or Premium Plus, you're going to have a 26-degree approach angle. That's what you get right up here as you're trying to approach an obstacle. You've got a 23-degree breakover here in the middle, and then you've got a 23-degree departure angle back here as you're trying to get the back of the car through this. Now, if you have the luxury trim, that rear departure angle goes down by 2 degrees to 21 degrees. And then if you have the Overtrail, things get better. Your approach angle stays the same at 26 degrees. Your breakover goes up by 1 to 24. And then your departure angle actually splits the difference between the premium and the luxury at 22. So I'm not a huge off-roader, but those are the numbers. Those are why they matter. It's just so you can get through different obstacles. As far as a couple other things that are going to be shared with all of these GXs, like I mentioned, that wheelbase is 112.2 inches. They're all 83.2 inches wide. And then the height, again, is something that's a little different based on the suspension, the tires, that sort of thing. But they are all roughly between 75.5 and 76.5 inches tall. Now let's move to the back, because as you know on this channel, we talk a lot about towing, and that is also something that is different based on the trim that you get. Okay, so towing. We're back here at the back bumper of the new GX, and we're gonna first remove the cover that covers the trailer hitch. It's a kind of oddly shaped. It's very large. I'm not really sure why they felt the need to make it that big, but in any case, the nice thing about this is that it just pulls off with no tools. I love that. A lot of these SUVs have these beauty covers use these different push pins or clips that either need tools and then come out entirely and you can lose them. So the fact that this just comes right off is really fantastic. Now, you've got a standard 2-inch trailer hitch receiver back here. You've got the spots for your safety chains to hook right in, and then your trailer wiring is gonna be under here, kind of at an angle under the bumper. They do that so that you're not gonna rip it off if you're off-roading, but you do have both a 7-pin and a 4-pin connector. Now, this GX that I'm sitting next to here is a Premium Plus, like I mentioned. These are rated, as is the Overtrail and Overtrail Plus, which is the more intensely off-road focused model, these are all rated at 8,000 pounds of towing, which is pretty good for a vehicle this size with this sort of wheelbase. Now, if you get the Luxury or Luxury Plus trim levels, those weigh more, and Lexus told me that that is why those are rated to tow less. So you actually lose a good bit of tow capacity. You go from 8,000 pounds down to about 6,900, or in the case of the Luxury Plus, about 6,780. So that's truly just based on all the extra equipment that they have on them. It adds weight, and that takes away from both tow rating and payload. Now, speaking of payload, let's head to the front door and check out that door jamb sticker. These are pre-production trucks, so we may not even have a sticker up there, but we will at least take a look. So taking a look here at the door jamb sticker, like I said, these are pre-production, so these numbers could change. Lexus hasn't really officially announced payload for these entirely yet, but in any case, you always want to check this door jamb sticker to see what the payload is of your actual vehicle, because that does influence how much it can tow, but also how much you can have inside of it. So in this case, this one is a Premium Plus trim. So it's going to have some extra equipment, but not a ton versus the luxury trims in particular. This is rated at 1,425 pounds of payload. That's actually pretty good for something this size, so kudos to Lexus there. Got the door open. I'm sure a lot of you want to check out the interior. That is what I'm here to do, so let's take a look at that next. So let's take a look inside of this GX. These are going to be the saddle brown seats. We've got some other seat options here on the luxury and the Overtrail that I'm sitting with, so you can see here we've also got the luxury with the black seats, and then we've got the Overtrail with the black with olive going on, just a little bit of olive coloring on those seats. But looking back at this one being the Premium Plus, this is, one of the more basic, and I think the interior still presents really well. It looks really, really nice. You're not, missing out on a lot by getting the quote base model here. So as far as what you're getting, these are going to be Nulux seats, which is to say they're faux leather, which is totally fine. They're probably going to be more durable than regular leather would be anyway. Now, this one is going to be a 7-seater, so this is not going to be the biggest third row, but we'll talk about this. So you've got 2 seats up front, obviously. This one has 3 across in the middle row. You can also get 2 across in the second row if you really want that, but that's going to be on the luxury trim, not on this premium trim. And then we'll talk about the third row here in just a second. But as far as what else you get up front, let me go ahead and shut this door. So a couple of things going on here. If you've seen anything about a newer Lexus product, especially the new LX or the RX, this is going to look pretty familiar. So you've got kind of the updated Lexus steering wheel here. Now, you don't have those arrow touch buttons like you do on the RX because they just don't have as many functions to deal with. So this over here is going to be your cruise control, everything for your kind of safety systems. These will be to change your track. This changes the mode, whichever input you want for your audio. And looking on this side, this guy is going to control your digital gauge cluster, and then you've got volume, of course, and voice control and phone and all that good stuff. Now, looking in here, this is a fully digital gauge cluster. Every GX has it. It's a 12.3-inch screen, which Lexus is very proud of. You've got a few different views you can set up here. If I figure out how to go to that, let's see. So Type 2 gives you some different gauges, just more traditional view, and then Type 3 is going to be a little more simple. So in any case, you see plenty of nice information here. In this case, you see you've got pitch and roll, you've got all of your different, oil pressure, temperature, battery voltage, and then that I-force gauge right over here is going to be your turbo boost. Looking over here by my left knee, I've got controls for the brightness, the trip odometer, 3-position memory for the driver's seat, and then further down, just some controls. There's 120-volt outlet, your power rear hatch, which again we'll show you in just a second, and then the rear collision warning. Now on the door panel, this is again pretty typical Lexus. If you've been in a modern Lexus, you can have the mirrors auto fold if you want, or control them manually. Power mirrors, of course, door locks, windows, and the child lockout switch for the back. Now moving over here to your center, this has got the new Lexus infotainment system. This is a 14-inch display, and if we take a look at this, your start-stop button is going to be up here. You've got a nice big screen. I think this is a pretty decent setup. I don't love all touch stuff, but they do a nice job with this. The climate controls always persist in this black area here, so you don't have to worry about those going away, and then you can hit different things to get, other options if you really want. Picking this squares button gives you just some frequently used items, and then some more comfort and convenience options. You can see here you've also got heated and ventilated front seats. You've got a heated steering wheel, and that is all pretty easy to deal with. You can also pull up your rear climate controls because they also have separate controls back there. So if you're up front and want to control the rear seats, you can certainly do that from this area. Your only real physical controls are going to be your defrost for front, rear, and side mirrors, and then your volume knob and power button. Now looking further down, this is where some of the magic happens. So you've got your drive modes. So this drive mode dial is going to let you choose between a few drive modes. If we look in the cluster here, turn the dial, you can have Eco, you can have Normal, and you can have Sport. There's no real need for an off-road mode because honestly, you're in four-wheel drive all the time, so why bother? This drive mode button is one of those that really, like, if you go into tow haul, then it takes that out. This seems kind of odd and redundant, but this is the same thing they're doing in the Sequoia, the Tundra, the LX. So pushing that just takes you back to your normal mode. And then this ECT second button will make the transmission start in second gear if you're in drive. That's kind of nice if you're in the snow or off-roading or whatever. Here's your traction control button and your tow haul drive mode button. Shifter wise, you're going to have a regular traditional style shifter, so no big deal here, and then you can slide it over for a manual mode. There are paddle shifters as well. And then looking further down, you've got a brake hold and a parking brake control here, and then your four-wheel drive is right here. So you've got 4 high, like I said, you're always in there. Low range is right here. You just push and slide. It's going to yell at me because I'm not in neutral. And then right here is your locking center differential. Now, some of the other trims, most notably the Overland, will also have a locking rear differential, and we'll take a look at that in just a minute. Looking over here, they do have 2 different USB-C ports, one for data if you want to plug in for CarPlay or whatever, and then one for charging, and then another cigarette lighter style outlet right here as well. Further back, we've got 2 cup holders. As far as the key is concerned, this is just like any other Lexus key. So this is what it is, and it's a nice key. It's fine. And then looking further back, you do have a wireless charging mat, and if I pop this open, this is your center console space. So pretty large. You can get a cool box on this if you really want, if you want to keep some drinks cold or a sandwich or something while you're off-roading, but in this case, this one is not equipped like that. Now looking further up, this is a regular rear view mirror. No digital rear view mirror seems to be offered on these. And then you've got some more controls up here on the sunroof panel for the roof, for your interior lighting, and then to tilt the sunroof as well. Now this sunroof is just a regular size sunroof, but a panoramic roof is going to be available on the luxury trim. It's apparently one of those, kind of like the Venza and the Lexus RZ, where it goes all the way back. It's a solid sheet of glass, and it can kind of do that electrochromatic whatever effect, so there's no shade, it just kind of becomes dark. So kind of a neat thing. Now looking around here at the visibility out the front of this, it all seems pretty good. I've got nice defined sight lines here on the front. The bulges in the hood are nice, just so you kind of know where the angles of everything are. And the dashboard is pretty low. I'm a fan of this, especially compared to things like the Toyota Tundra. It's also been redesigned recently. That dash just feels kind of high. This is all nice and low for me. And then again, down here, if you look at where my arm would sit, this is at a nice, comfortable position. I really, really enjoy this. I'm comfortable in this car. I'm 6'1". I've got plenty of space, but this all feels like I've got plenty of room, whereas older Toyota and Lexus truck-based vehicles just never really did for me. The other nice thing here, I'm gonna roll the window down for a second. I'm so happy about this. If you wanna be cool and stick your arm out the window, you can do it, and you're not jacked up here, you're down here, and I think that is just brilliant. Not something that they always have to do, but I love the fact that, the door lines, the window lines, the belt line is so set up properly, you can just kick your arm out like this. So with that, let's hop into the second and third rows because we should talk about comfort back there. So second row, here we are, and a couple things to note about the second row before I get in. This, again, like I said, has that kind of two-tone, so it's black and brown. You do notice you've got kind of a basic armrest here with some cup holders. That is lovely. If we look, though, further down, the seat bases here, these seats don't slide front to back. This kind of is what it is as far as legroom. Now, why I'm saying that is because you'll see this looks maybe a little tight back here, so let's get in. Like I said, I'm 6'1", and I want to see how I fit behind myself. So if I close this door, I actually think I've got decent legroom. My feet are very much under the seat. I'm not, you know, kicked back, but this is pretty good. And then as far as headroom is concerned, I do have plenty of it. You know, this roof has kind of a nice bubble right here. I've got a decently long torso and I've got sort of big hair today, and I still have plenty of room. Now, if I want to recline these seats, there is a lever on the side here. I can kick it back a little bit. This would be fine if you're on a road trip or something trying to kick back. So definitely plenty of comfort back here. And then if you look at the center console, what's behind you, you do have automatic climate control. It's a tri-zone system in this car. So the rear seats are going to share, you know, one temperature setting. You don't have separate for either side of the car, but you can set your temperature, no big deal. You've got fan speed controls. You do have heated outboard seats on this model. Those come with the Premium Plus and then some of the higher trims as well. So nice to have that. And then you've got 2 additional USB-C charging ports right down here. Now, this one doesn't have it, but there are optional manually operated sunshades if you want to have those. Those are going to be on some of the higher trims. Now, the only way you can get 3 rows of seats in this car is to get that premium trim level. You'll see I do have 3rd row back here behind me. So let's get in there. This is not meant to be a routinely used 3rd row. This is like for emergencies, you know, grandma and grandpa are in town, the kids' friends are going to ride with you, whatever. Lexus also has the Lexus TX, that just came out alongside the GX, and that is meant to be more of the big unibody 3-row street-focused vehicle for like a family. So I don't have my hopes up, but let's see how this all works. So first thing we have to do is get in there. So all I'm going to do is grab this one lever, right like this, and the seat just kind of folds up and away, no big deal. And then got the 3rd row deployed. You've got 2 seats back here. Go ahead and hop in. We're gonna film me doing this because this is always a fun task. Okay, and I'm gonna pull this seat here, and then you've got this little guy is how you pull to get the seat back up. Now, if I pull this so that it's at an angle that people would want to sit at, much like this. Okay, I am in here. You can see my legs are kind of wedged. My feet don't really fit, but they do. It's working okay. And then as far as my head is concerned, I am in the ceiling. So this is not great for tall folks, but no one's really claiming that it is. Like I said, most of these aren't going to have a 3rd row in the first place. But I'm back here. There is a little bit of an adjustment that operates by power here if you want. So you can push this and your seat back will recline, but as you can watch, it's a pretty small, that's all it does. It moves you like an inch or 2 for the backrest recline. Now there are some USB-C ports back here, so that's great. You've got a charging port back here, you've got a couple cup holders. So again, if you've got, you know, kids or you need to move some people here and there, that's fine, but this is tiny. This is not gonna be for regular use. Other thing I want to show you is how all the seats fold down, because we also talked about this when I toured the new Toyota Land Cruiser, which this is on the same platform as and shares a body and some other things with in some ways. The Land Cruiser is going to be a hybrid system, and what that means is that you've got a lumpy rear seat area. So if you fold everything, it's not a flat floor. So I want to fold all these seats and see how this looks with everything folded. Okay, so first of all, I have to get out of here. So this is just going to be pull and push. So that is pretty easy. And now extracting myself. This is always a fun mess. A tall man and a 3rd row seat. Okay, so we're gonna leave this guy where it is because that is going to be folded. Let me come around to the back. I haven't showed you this yet. You do have a separate opening piece of glass, which I love. It doesn't roll into the car, but it just folds down. That's great. And then some of them also have a kick to open back hatch. So this one doesn't have it, but this is where you would kick. In this case, it's just power opening. Now, these are going to be opening upward because people said they didn't like the ones that open toward the curb. That was kind of a leftover remnant from these being designed for the Japanese market more than anything. So 3rd row is going to be a couple steps here. So you're just going to pull and pull. And then you've got these controls here that will power fold the seats. So we'll start with the right. And I'll add the left. Now, as these all go down, might be a little noisy. Like I said, these are pre-production cars. Let me go ahead and put that, that other second row seat down, and let's just take a look at this. Again, we're just gonna grab this guy right here and pull that up. So in this configuration, you do have this kind of well here, but you've got some length. If I put these back down, here's the nice thing. This will be more obvious if we go to the back of the car, but you've got fairly flat floor here. So this actually looks like a usable cargo area. Look at that. You can bring all sorts of stuff home from IKEA, or load up all your camping gear, or mostly bring stuff home from IKEA. But I love how flat this is. This is what they all need to be, because if you have a utility vehicle and it's not utilitarian, why are you bothering? All right, well, that's it for this little walk around and tour of the 2024 Lexus GX. I wish we could drive them, but not quite yet. Hopefully we'll be on one of those media drives where we get to drive these things, test them out off-road, and of course, once they have them here in these local fleets, I will be sure to get a trailer behind one that's rated for 8,000 pounds and see how it can pull some decently heavy trailer weight. And all that said, if you want to follow along, please be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe right here on YouTube so you don't miss a single thing coming up with this GX and a whole bunch of other new cars and trucks. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Out Motorsports. I guess it's X now, whatever, follow us there. And if you want to meet a community of fellow LGBT automotive enthusiasts and motorsports competitors, please head over to outmotorsports.com. We've got a whole gaggle over there who would love to meet you online or at one of our in-person events coming up throughout this year and into early next. Till next time, please stay safe, be well. See you for the next one.